Can everybody hear me? Coming across, way back there? Okay. Well, we have a bunch of hardy people here today. You guys are brave souls. Shows how dedicated. We got at least 60 people there, I think, which is pretty amazing consider the conditions. So you ought to give yourselves a big hand for coming out here. And my mother's here too. Now, she's 92. If she can make it, anybody can make it. So she's doing fine right over there. And my cousin's sitting over there also. It's a family affair. Just to start off with real quick, we have 2 or 3 people that want to make real short statements. Cheryl Munson has something to say here. Also with Cheryl today is Joyce Poling, who's a renowned historian locally.
No, let's not say that.
Too late.
Just take it, stand right there.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Joyce and I have had the great pleasure in 2017 of being on the organizing committee for Monroe County's Bicentennial celebration. And the great pleasure and a little bit of frustration. First, the great pleasure. We have upcoming on January 14th, that is the Sunday, a celebration of the actual 200th birthday of Monroe County. And this is when the state designated Monroe County officially. And we have a wonderful program planned at the courthouse in the rotunda. There's going to be several speakers. Joyce has arranged for several early families to
The Dunn
speak.
family, the Ferris family will be there.
And we have a little bit of music and a dramatization planned. And I think the best refreshments of all that are planned, historically appropriate cider and donuts. So these are
I
contributed.
don't know how historic donuts are.
They could be really old donuts.
They're not rock hard. They're not rock hard. And I think this is a great prelude to what's then going to happen at the History Center. There will be the grand opening of an exhibit on what they've been calling the Vills. It's really honoring all the small communities in our county. I said there's a bunch of birds too. So they will be included. And there'll be some music there. And I hope you all will come out and enjoy this great day. It's for families. Bring kids or grandkids along if you have them. And I think it's just going to be a great kickoff for our bicentennial year. There will be other events that we'll tell you about. And you want to tell you about?
No, we're the marketing team, and you forgot the calendars.
No, I was just about to say.
Okay,
You tell her.
you do the calendar.
She won't talk about it. The calendar is going to be ready in about a week, and I hope to be able to arrange with Mike, where you are.
I'm ready.
He's going to say yes because I'm talking about him right now. To send out an email announcement to you all for when the calendar will be ready. There were some production confusions that I don't know about because I'm not in charge of it. But we had a wonderful time putting together historic photos for each of the months and historic tidbits on many of the days in each month. So I think you all will enjoy this calendar. It costs $15 and it's going to be for sale at the courthouse and at Visit Bloomington at the Visitor Center. And the funds are to raise money for restoration of the Alexander Memorial. This is the statue on the southeast corner of the square. It has been dissolving for years due to improper cleaning. Don't know how that happened, but it's really sad. There are plans to restore this, and we just have to help raise some of the money. The county's going to save money, but all the funds will go into the courthouse and Courthouse Square Preservation Fund. And I hope you all can be part of this. Thank you. Hope to see you on the 14th.
All right, thanks, Cheryl and Joyce. Also, the Monroe County History Center has a new director, Susan Dyer. She has a couple of statements to make here.
Hi, Susie.
welcome her to the Monroe County.
Thank you very much. In addition to the event that we have coming up on the 14th, which will be at the courthouse starting at 1, I think. And then the music will start at the History Center at 3, and we'll stay open until 4. Admission is free to what is now being called 5 Vills and a Bird. So we're trying to cover all of that. And I also wanted to remind everybody that the annual gala is coming up for the History Center. This is our big fundraiser in addition to the garage sale in June. And of course we'll have a bicentennial theme, past, present, and future, and Jim Madison is going to be our featured speaker. So you'll be hearing more about that in the coming week. Individual tickets are $75 and a table of 8 is $550. So hope we see a lot of you there. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Susan. And now, as usual, my Minister of Propaganda, George Carpenter, has a couple of things to say.
Who laughed? Thanks, Ethel. Welcome. It's such a cold and frigid day out there. Oh, here we go again. I'd like to thank CAPS for coming on such a cold day also. I'm glad that you're here. Once again, always thanks to the Legion and to our wonderful servers. Please be generous if you can. It's also my pleasure to introduce someone. Susan Snyder-Salmon, who grew up in our neighborhood down near Bryant Park, and she has a specific historical request that some of you may be interested in. I'm sure all of you local Bloomingtonians will know about what she's talking about. Susan?
Thank you, George. Some of you may remember hearing a radio station in Bloomington, WTTS, back when AM ruled the airwaves, if you remember. Let me see your hand. There you go. So you every night heard John Snyder deliver the news. That was my father. I recently found a treasure trove of scripts that he had written over the years on different holidays. And I'm starting to translate those and put those together into some coherent sensibility, and doing some research in the library and other places to find information. Maybe you remember Jenny Fiscus back over the backyard fence, or Bruce Baker calling all of the games, and when Joe Smith appeared on the scene, we even had Dick Enberg for a while, who helped in the sports area. So and there was an FM station, but WGTC was something that wasn't heard by everybody everywhere. So what I'm asking of you is, if you have memories, and if you're willing to share even a small story or something that you remember, maybe it was Christmas Eve where Santa was being tracked, or as George was telling me back in the early 70s, his dad used to fly over the football games and give traffic reports back in the day. I had not heard the eyes in the sky story. So if you have something, I'd like to talk with you and set up a time to chat and record some thoughts. I don't know what it'll be. I'm putting together something that will try to capture the essence of what WTTS and WGTC were to this community back in the 50s and 60s and early 70s. So thank you. And if you're interested, just see me after the event and I'll take down your name and number. Thank you.
Uh-oh, she's handing me the microphone back. I'm supposed to give it to Mike. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Okay, just a quick rundown of some of the future programs. We're booked all the way through September of this year, which is kind of incredible. January 30th, Rex Waters of the Department of Natural Resources will discuss in words and images the history of Monroe Lake, Monroe Reservoir. February 27th, Christine Friesel of the Monroe County Public Library. Is she here today? I didn't see Christine. She's going to discuss in words and images what was going on in Monroe County during the 1940s, which we've never really covered before. That should be very interesting. March 27th, local historian Dan Combs will discuss in detail the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918-1919, which killed a lot of local people, 75 million people worldwide. So that's a really interesting story. I've done some studying on that myself. April 24th, Gib Apple, who was in management at RCA for many years, will discuss the history and the effect that RCA had on Bloomington. May 29th, local historian and frequent contributor Dr. Clay Stuckey will give a detailed history on the rich history of West Baden Springs Hotel. So that may not be Monroe County, but a lot of people in Monroe County go down to West Baden quite a bit, and they're very familiar with it. June 26th, Bob Hamill, who's here today, will give a presentation on the Monroe County Sports Hall of Fame and its newest inductees. July 31st, Brad Cook of the IU Photo Archives will return to give part 3 of his pictorial history of IU, beginning around the year 1930. He's done 2 of these so far. August 28th, local historian David Nord will give a presentation on the history of Spring Mill State Park, which Clay and I went to see, and it's, I'm sure people will like that too. September, Susan Dyer of the Monroe County History Center will give a program focusing on the role RCA played during war production in World War II. So that's what's coming up. Quite a few things, and they're all good. Today, it's always fun to introduce somebody that's not only a great presenter, but a friend, Derek Richey. He and I worked on a lot of things over the last 5 years. He's a local historian, local author. This presentation will feature photos from the Herald Times, which was the Herald Telephone archives from the 1960s and maybe even late 50s, pretty far back. These range broadly from political, social, criminal even, and architectural themes. Several of our group, some of who are here today, helped scan these photos. Mike Pruitt, Marilyn Burke, George Carpenter, and a few others who aren't here. It was kind of a labor of love. We started in 1957, is as far back as they go. We've got to around 1969, then we took a hiatus, which we may start in again one of these days soon. So the interesting is none of these things have captions when we scanned them, and so a lot of the identification of these things comes from people like you. And in the past, people have been able to identify a great number of these photos. We had no idea who the people were, where the images were, and where the buildings were, and what buildings. So, Derek?
Thanks, Mike. Come over here and grab my Gatorade. Mike's right. So literally when we started scanning these photos at the, oop, I guess I turned it off. There we go. At the HT, I mean, they're just boxes full of negatives. I mean, boxes and boxes and boxes full of negatives. The only thing you really get is, you know, on the front of the box, there's a date, the year, and maybe you'll get the month, maybe if you're lucky as you go through the box. And of course, when we started back in the, of course, there were no photos prior to 57 because prior to 1957, each of the individual photographers kept their own collections to themselves. So that's why we were hoping to go back further, of course, but that's all there is. It starts in 57. That's when the HT officially started keeping track of the photos themselves, and they asked the photographers to give them those photos. And they started putting them in these boxes. And, you know, at first, they would take 4, 5 photos of a scene for the paper because film is expensive. And so they didn't want to waste a lot of money. Well, now we're into the 70s or 60s, and they're taking like 15, 20 photos of the same thing. So then we have to go, okay, which one of these 20 photos of the same person standing in front of the same building do we want to scan? And it's hard because they're very small, and you have to put them under light, and you have to stare at them, and you have to figure out, all right, which one's the most compelling. Maybe we'll do a couple of them. So lucky, I've been able to take out most of the reproductions, but we really do this once every year to figure out what we're looking at when we don't know what we're looking at, because often we don't. You will notice a theme in this particular presentation. I have about 200 slides here from the late 60s, late 50s, early 60s. I'm not quite sure. You'll probably let me know based on the cars you're seeing. You'll notice a lot of car wrecks in this particular version of the slides from this era. Well, yeah, I think it's, you look at it, we're talking late 50s, most people, we had only really been driving cars for 40 years. There were no seat belts yet. So a lot of even the most smallest crashes were quite deadly. So the paper was out covering these things. All right, let's get started. We all know where that is. That's on the square. Yeah, we're not sure what the rally was or why, but we know we're downtown. And cons, of course. It wasn't called cons. It was called, pronounced what? Cans. That's right. Michael let me know that. Now, if you were in New York City, they wouldn't let you get away with calling yourself cans. You would definitely be a con. But I guess it's Bloomington. So if you recognize anybody in these photos, feel free to share. This looks like Halloween, huh?
Yeah.
So we've got October. We know what month we're generally in here. And I'm still thinking this is late 50s, Mike, because the hair
Look at the shoes.
and the shoes. Yes.
They used to have a Halloween parade downtown.
So this might have been the Halloween parade downtown. I'm not sure what that is.
Some destruction of the IU Capitol.
Yeah, looks like a lot of junk there. Oh, okay. Some clarification. Sometimes when you scan a photo, you'll get both photos on the reel. Don't know why that works that way sometimes. I've taken out any scandalous photos that were in here. There were a couple. Oh, did you know someone in the middle?
I recognize that face. I'll have to think about who it is.
Here we go with the car wreck theme. And let's see, trying to see what the name on the box was, but it's just too small. Look, probably a limestone incident, which were common back then. People would get injured on the job. Hopefully they're not all looking down on someone who's perished. Here's the drive-through that, which used to exist. It's not now. There's a big hotel there along West 5th Street or Kirkwood. But this used to be that drive-through. They were thinking about saving it, and then they figured out, oh, it's only been around since the 50s, so it's not really that old. Here's a better close-up. This looks just like to be an abandoned vehicle. Not sure what they're staring at. I'm always hoping someone will know something. Here's are the Boy Scouts, United Hands, United Hearts. Somebody know these people? Can you repeat that? Charles Hastings, the one on the top?
Yeah, and then the one to the left and closest to the window is Robin Humphrey.
Robert Humphrey, closest to the window. Robin.
So these guys are class of 65, aren't they?
Yeah.
So what would that make this year then, just about?
That's 60.
Well, it can't be 55. because it starts at
They'd be at least 12.
I'd say late 50s.
Late 50s? Okay.
These guys
And these are, I'm showing you these photos in the order we actually scanned them. So This is the order the box comes in. Now, you had different reporters, photographers out doing different assignments.
Okay, what's happened here? This is the location of the famous bridge over a creek.
The famous bridge over a creek.
Yeah, and if you notice, that's looking north,
Looking north,
and at the curve up there is where Red Latimer lived.
up top is where Red Latimer
Yeah.
lived, okay.
Yeah, and you notice the bridge abutment there has been strangely deformed.
Yeah.
Probably after an automobile accident.
The theme continues, yeah, I'm sure an automobile hit, yeah.
Also featured in Ripley's, believe it or not, because you drop a line, it goes through the railroad, through the bridge, to the creek in one shot, straight.
Huh.
What did you say, Derek?
That if you dropped a line straight from the top, it would go through all of these structures.
And that was the only place in the United States that was so.
And about when did this overpass go down? Do we know?
Early 1970s.
1970s, okay.
That's when they cut the line. That line came off at Clear Creek, branched off of Clear Creek. This was the original Monon line that came from New Albany. It came up through Smithville and Sanders, came across here and joined at Clear Creek.
Okay.
The other line that came later was built in the late 1890s that went around the water level route up to join back to Clear Creek again.
Interesting. Huh. Well, yeah, some close-up of that damage.
It didn't move very much, did it?
My guess is they probably came out here because of the damage to take photos of it. Somebody had run into it. Yeah, looks like a burned down house.
There we go.
Parade. These look like what, high school students?
VHS.
Yep, VHS. That was the year before we got our new uniforms. We got our new uniforms in
This looks to be a gas station on fire.
Sinclair, it's a Sinclair.
Yeah. Not exactly sure where. There was a big fire along South Walnut, but that was many years prior, so I'm not sure where this one was. Was hoping you guys knew. We will have to check the paper. Actually, how we actually started figuring out what some of these things were. So during the summer, we would go to the library and we would go through the paper and match it up with the photos that we had scanned to see, well, what is it that we have? The reason we would do that in the summer is because it gets so hot in the HT when you're scanning that photos in this little secluded room that we're kind of stuck in back there.
That process was painful too.
Yes, and it's a very painful, this is a much easier process to ask you what it is. And you can tell us rather than us going through every paper.
There's Hermie.
There's Herman Wells
That's Dr. Gregory
and Dr. Gregory. Which one's Dr. Gregory?
with the hat on.
With the hat,
Band
okay.
director, right.
Ah, the band director, okay. Good to know. Here's, I'm guessing, the school corporation heads. Dr. Beck?
Wasn't that down, that's at the corner of College and Second Street?
Yes, this is College and Second. Those are the Adams houses. They're still standing, actually. They're one of the few houses that do still stand along that section of South College, which was a neighborhood at one point, as most of you know, but in the 1950s was pretty much all demolished except for, the one that's on the corner of Smith and College and the two Adams brothers' houses at the very end, right before you get to Kroger.
So I think that's Dale Brock on the right.
Dale Brock on the right. I believe the superintendent this time would have been Beck, Superintendent Beck. And he would have been the guy in the middle, and he actually lived along South College.
It's just part of the United States.
Yeah, they're holding United Fund thingies.
Yeah.
That's right, the United Fund stuff, yeah.
Is that Carl Stewart on the left?
Could be Carl Stewart on the left, I'm not sure. Carol Smith? Harold? It helps when you all yell it at the same time, yeah. He was the what? Principal of Broadview, okay. Outside of Cooper's? Was Cooper's a jewelry store?
That's next to Workingman's Federal Law, northwest corner of Fifth Street
West corner of 5th Street
and Washington.
in Washington. Somebody's house. Mike, you should know all the pharmacists in town, right?
Really, that guy I don't know, but he's definitely a pharmacist.
He certainly is. Bruce Storm? Senior?
Bruce, that could be.
Is related to the same Bruce Storm?
Oh, yeah.
That might be Bruce.
Bruce was.
So Bruce was a pharmacist?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Good to know.
And he started out, I think, with Rex, all that.
Yeah, and then he was in Ellisville.
He was in several places.
Looks like someplace is burning.
Yeah. Looks like we have a fire here. The photo's quite dark for a fire. Somebody's rolling in the dough.
Someplace, some bank, yeah.
Yeah.
That's in the old gym, which was a great ice build gym.
Yeah. What year did the gym, was it torn down, Mike? Do we remember 57? Somewhere
Well,
around?
the gym was torn
Or
down in
60?
75.
75, that's right.
The school burned in 67.
All right.
The-
And they tore down the old gym because they said it was unstable.
Some people said it was unstable. I think they wanted it for retail space, so.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Sell it to Kroger and Wendy's.
Yep.
Nick Pulitzer. That's Nick Pulitzer.
Nick Pulitzer of Nick's. Picked by Nick, I guess. He used to pick the games, huh?
That's probably the Gables.
Yeah, it could be at the Gables. Any familiar people here?
Sarge Hardacre. The woman's best picture back here, furthest to the left, right there.
Furthest to the left is who?
Edna Sarge Hardacre.
Edna Sarge Hardacre.
Hardacre,
Hardacre.
right,
She's got a hard name to say.
she was the lady who sat at the door of the Legion, and if you weren't a Legion member, you didn't get in.
Wow, I wouldn't have got in today, huh?
She was a nurse in World War II in France.
Nurse in World War II in France. She sounds like a tough customer.
She's wonderful.
The second,
Awesome person, yeah.
second woman looks a little like Merle Hetherington.
Second woman could be Merle Hetherington.
Doesn't it look like Merle?
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. That's from 0 people we knew to now we might have 2. Not sure. That's quite dark. Could be an IU student. This house, I think, is still standing along North College. Walnut, sorry, yes. Gosh, you'd think by now I could get that Walnut College thing. Stop flip-flopping.
Just south of 10th and Walnut.
Right, just south of 10th and Walnut. Another double scan here. Yep, that is the First Christian Church.
Workingman's Federal.
Yep, and Workingman's in the back, left. So it looks like another parade. Oh, back to that photo. Well, guess we did this one twice.
That's a good picture. That's really good.
Mike always likes the sports ones, and I'm like, hurry up, Mike, scan the sports ones. Go ahead, get it over with.
Oh, yeah, so we can get on to looking at more buildings.
Yes, I like looking at the buildings. Mike likes looking at the sports photos. Oh, this one gives you a good idea what the
I think that's
what the
usually-
inside of the gym looks like.
You know, at high school,
It's University High School.
University High School.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they had a balcony like that.
What happened to their gym?
That's still there.
But the out of bounds line was right where people were sitting, so they put a red line inside that line by a yard, so you couldn't stand out of bounds from the ball. So weird.
Yeah, well, this looks like something they would do for the census.
It looks like a
Well,
I'm not sure what this is.
Don't want to know.
okay, those are just different voting districts, Bloomington, Perry.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
these are voting districts then. Okay, awesome. Good to know.
Not too much
There's one of the
gerrymandering
districts.
going on there.
And I told you I was going to get rid of most of the ones that are obscene, but this one somehow slipped in.
Yeah, look.
1957 Ford there.
So we could be in the 57, 58 range here. I'm not sure exactly what we're looking at. Yeah, it could be Kirkwood. You know, back when it had houses. If anyone's familiar with Shell, this gentleman's pictured twice. Who?
Who?
Bud Hartsock? There were lots of gas stations back then, so it's kind of tough, isn't it? Heck, it's hard to find a gas station now, but there's one on almost every corner back then. Oh, they took several photos of it. Mike, you should be familiar with this area.
Yeah, that's the old baseball field.
It's the old baseball field.
North,
Right.
South, excuse me, south.
That's Dodge Street line.
You can kind of still go out to this whole area and kind of get an idea of where the field was.
That looks to be a freshman team.
The Bloomington, what's the building say?
Bloomington Limestone Corporation. This would have been on along South College, South Walnut, kind of in between those two streets, just south of what, First Street?
And just north of Switchyard Park.
Right.
I think that building is still there.
That building is still there, and they were trying to, I guess, make it a brewery at
It's a
one point.
distillery, I think.
Yeah, but they never really happened. But if you hit it over that building, it was a home run. Isn't that right, Mike?
Oh, I don't know about that.
All right. I mapped it out at one
It was a
point.
good
Okay,
shot.
South Washington Street.
Yep.
Just north of the Coke plant.
Well, the Coke plant is kind of in the photo still.
1958 Ford.
So we're about 58 then. All these, well, some of these buildings are still there, but not all of them. Yes, we are looking at South Washington near the Coke plant. To the left would be the park. Just wondering if anybody knew this pageant person.
Looks like it's Christmas time.
Yeah, so we started in October. We're probably getting around to December right now.
I remember those bells hanging.
The bells, yeah.
I think it's Janet Drake.
Janet Drake.
I think that's a name on the car.
I heard an oh yeah, so maybe that was her.
Nothing, it's just
Junior mid? Okay, better yet. Well, here we go.
The L
Okay,
team.
here's Linda Greenwell, top right. Connie Fischel, top left.
All right, you're gonna have to slow down. Start again.
Linda Wampler,
Linda Wampler is
center, right.
center right.
Linda Wampler, center right.
and above her is Linda Greenwell.
Above her is Linda Greenwell.
And then Connie Fischel to Linda's left,
Connie
or Linda's right. Yeah.
Fischel on Linda's right.
Now, Anna Hankins. Anna Hankins
Are you
is.
writing his down?
Anna Lee Hankins. No, we're recording it.
Okay, right next to Linda Wampler, and the other girl, I'm not sure who the far left is.
So Obviously, they were all very popular except for the one on the far left.
Well, they were all pretty.
Who?
They all were hot.
I'm not getting that on tape.
You got it, you don't want it.
Dick Kissner.
Who?
That's like Tracy, remember Dick Kissner?
Say that.
Number 14.
Dick Kissner's?
So we're probably 61.
61, 62.
Yeah.
All right, 61, 62. All right, that helps. Lot of potatoes? The theme continues. Rogers School? Is that what I heard? Or-
Bedford didn't have that kind of a playground. No. Rogers may have.
So we're thinking it might be Rogers. This might be one of you. All right. More accidents. Close-up of the accident. Well, that's a bad one. Especially the way those things were built like tanks back then, to see it crushed in that far.
Derek.
Yeah, we're,
Derek Bar.
Right across from the high school.
right. This is where the hoodlums hung out? Okay. If any of you hung out there, I apologize. I didn't say that, Mike did. Yeah, but this would have been right across the street there on South Walnut. The building's still there, but obviously the hoodlum hangout is not the same. Just south of 2nd and South Walnut. You guys. All right, so this is 11th and, that's right, 11th in College, looking towards Walnut. And actually, it looked a little like this when I moved here in 91. It was just sort of an empty lot. And of course, there used to be a house there prior to them building this particular car store. And then you'll notice in the background, they accidentally took photos of houses, so I like that. That house is not there any longer either. And here is a sort of mystery demolition. We just couldn't figure out what it was. Maybe you guys can figure it out. There's several of them. Maybe you can figure out by the houses in the background.
What's that across the street?
Across the street, it says
So what kind of a shop?
Yarn Shop. The Yarn Shop. Where was that? Anybody know where the Yarn Shop was?
Wasn't that on, west, about a block and a half west of, Indiana?
So East 4th?
West of Indiana.
So this is somewhere near East 4th Street.
No, it's post office. That's too far east of the post office.
Probably a future parking lot.
Yeah, well, definitely a future parking lot. That was the theme in this era.
That's how we got to be an All-American City.
That's right. We did win the All-American City Award because we built more parking lots than, say, Bedford did.
But we planted trees around them.
We did plant trees and other foreign-looking bushes around them to make them
And
look nice.
invasive species.
Yes. Well, those are hard to kill and they don't need much maintenance. So that's why we have so many Colorado pines in Bloomington. So anyhow, that's closer to where, yep, you can even see sort of the Italianate. But I really wish I knew what this was they were demolishing, but whatever it was obviously very nice.
At one time.
At one point, yes. I mean, it could be the post office area. I don't know.
No,
No?
no, much too late.
Yeah, you're right. That would have been 50, Yeah. So this is after that. But, you know, with the houses in the background, we still haven't been able to determine exactly what we're looking at being ripped down.
You've got a really big structure there on the right side.
Yeah, there is a very large structure on the right, but that just hasn't helped us so far. Anyhow, stare at this a while, keep it in your memory. If something hits you, give me a call. Golf. This is how they did digital indoor golf back in the 60s. Oh, that might be more. This doesn't even look, well, I guess this is the same house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the Italianate sort of,
4 stories.
it's a big, I know, that's why I want to know, what is it? This is huge. This is a huge house. Oops. That's not good news.
Almost made the creek.
Close to the creek, a little short. I give it a 5 out of 10. I don't even know why I put this in here. It's like, I know who that mask-covered man is.
Because it's a person.
Well, yeah. I occasionally put people in these presentations. All right, here's that same building. You can tell I must have been obsessed because I scanned every photo of it on the negatives, just to see if I could figure out what it was. I'm still striking out. But this doesn't even look like the same building because this is limestone, right? I'm thinking maybe this was that old residential hall along 3rd on campus, 3rd Street. What was that called? That Alpha, yeah, Alpha Hall. I think that's what this is.
The parking lot near Von Lee Theater.
Okay.
The parking lot near Vonley Theater.
Just east
Just east
of
of Von Lee.
Parkwood at Indiana,
Yeah, I think
northwest.
that looks like an old library.
That's the old library.
right across from the sample gates.
Right.
That's the old library.
So this is the old library?
Well, it looks like Franklin Hall in the back. No, library's in the back.
Building in the
Yeah,
back.
building behind it.
That's the old library.
Yep.
That would be what's now the
You can't
parking
tell me
lot.
the street.
So, but see, I know that there were houses there, so that couldn't be on that north side. In fact, I've documented all the houses that were on that side of the road, so they can't be there. I think what you're looking at is that is part of this structure that's being torn down here, that thing in the background that's leaning to the left a little bit. I think it's part of the demolition. Anyhow, it's still a little bit of a mystery. I was thinking it was Alpha Hall because it did come down just around this time. It was an old dorm, women's dorm. Served for a lot of other different reasons. Anyhow, they took a lot of photos of its demolition. Okay. Well, we can see where we are. In the back is the old doctor's office here along Kirkwood, where the library is today. Oh, and if you know who the guy is cutting the wood, you can let me know too. So in the background, you're looking northwest at a house that actually does still stand today, but the one right behind the guy cutting the wood is gone. It's where the library is now.
I think it's Dr. Wilson's office.
Dr. Wilson's office, right? Yeah. And prior to it being Dr. Wilson's office, it was a lot of other things, including a residence, but I'm not going to get into that story today. It's a long one. It includes kidnapping and people marrying people they shouldn't marry. Anyhow.
Are you trying to get a return visit based on that story?
I've actually told that story here twice already, so I didn't want to tell it again. This is a really bad wreck. Oh my goodness. I'm guessing someone didn't probably survive that. That's bad. It could have been cut open with the jaws of life if they had something like that back then.
That's an Illinois Central GP9.
It's an Illinois Central GP9. So says our expert, George. Oh.
Figure that out, George.
Thank you, George. Jeez.
Yeah, let me give it. That engine ran in Bloomington
That engine ran in Bloomington,
all the way down to Victor.
all the way down to Victor,
Actually go through the plant, RCA plant.
going through the RCA plant,
Through Clear Creek.
through Clear Creek,
Down to Victor.
Down to
pick up
Victor.
1 or 2 flat cars of stone, bring them back up and tie back in, and the Y, where they're tied in the railroad, was just to the east of this windows.
yeah, it was too quite fast for me to keep up with,
That's all
but, okay. But yeah, I would get stone, bring it back. Did you know these guys?
No, they were Illinois Central people.
Oh, yeah, those Illinois Central people.
If you're not Mona, I don't know you.
That's true. This is not a Monon thing. Is this that wreck again?
Yeah.
Must have been a bad one.
There's somebody on crutches.
Truck out.
There's someone where?
On crutches.
Yeah, I would believe that's probably just a spectator,
Probably not the drive.
not the driver.
Never know.
I mean, you do never know. People were tough back then, but I'm not going to the hospital. Just give me a couple crutches. This is some sort of psychedelic thing. I'm not sure what's going on here.
That's about an Alexander Memorial.
That's Paul Taylor.
Paul
That's
Taylor.
my father-in-law.
There you go.
That's your father-in-law? We didn't notice this the first time we scanned
He
it?
ran for sheriff.
He ran for sheriff.
He'd be a veteran son.
Your father-in-law. No kidding.
Paul, that's dead.
It's a small world.
Yeah. He owned the coffee cup. So
He owned the coffee
cup.
cup
Right across the street from the sheriff's office.
right across the street from the sheriff's office. Oh, yeah, you've told me about that before.
Who is it?
Who? Boyd Sturdivant. He's a singer? He's a senior. Meaning he's a senior in this photo, or he's a senior, he's old?
There's a junior.
Oh, senior. Okay, junior. I get you. All right. I'm a little slow.
I think he was a Navy commander too, or something like that.
He was a Navy commander, or something like that.
That looks like a school.
Not sure. Ah, you guys might remember these.
Oh, yay, I gotta love that.
It's Ellisville.
It'd be cool if they still did stuff like this now.
Yes.
It's like
You
Ellisville.
got Shirley, the person in the middle, her name
Oh,
is
go
Shirley.
back, Derek.
Go back.
Yeah, so you've got Annis,
Yeah,
and Shirley, and Jean,
Anna Sue.
in 1962.
That's
All
Ellisville.
from Ellisville.
Ellisville, yeah.
So we're at 62. I like it. We got a year.
Senior Fords.
Got Porky Pig there too.
Yeah, these are well drawn. All right. Well, this is right about at 5th and College, and but it's it would be right across the street from, say, where if you were at the Irish Lion and you were looking kind of towards the square, but just to the left. So
Oh, yeah. The
yeah.
bank on the
First
left.
National Bank.
yes, First National is there now, where this structure is. Anyhow, they were taking photos of this as it was being demolished, which is really rare because they often just didn't care and didn't take photos of things that were being demolished, but apparently they cared about this. Eventually, all this that you're looking at would come down,
Yeah.
so they could build a bank.
It was a bank then.
Yeah, it was a bank then as well, but apparently wasn't good enough for them. So they tore it down. Here's what it looked like before they took the wrecking ball to it. It's really the only chunk of the square we didn't save, and it's actually the only chunk of the square that doesn't look like it belongs today. And it's funny, in the same strip of film, it says, "Hey, All-American City Award," and actually you often got bonus points for building parking lots for cars and demolishing things that were considered old, and so you'd get bonus points, and cities would compete against one another to get this All-American City Award, and we won it in '62, I think it was.
58.
58? Okay, so this has been hanging there for a while. So it's not as much of a coincidence as I thought. I'm not sure why we scanned that. Oh, because it's probably one of the trucks taking away the bricks and everything on the. It's a pretty cool building, too bad. Oh, where are we?
Oh, looking south on College Avenue.
Hayes Grocery, from that same
Yep,
corner.
looking south
Yep.
Yes.
on College.
There's the moose down there on 4th Street.
So the moose, yep, you can see the moose on the left. It's still there. It's Serendipity today. Prior to that, it was actually a dance club and I can't remember. Second story.
What was the name of that hotel?
The Turner Hotel, it's still standing on the left there. And of course, they eventually would demolish that because they said it was leaning into the street. And they were afraid it was going to come down, but more than likely they tore it down because they just, yeah. All right, the outside of the Bradfute building, it's where the HT was headquartered, along South College.
Soon to come down itself.
Very soon to come down itself. It came down as well around the same time the ones we were just looking at came down. They actually took photos of it, which is surprising, as I said, because they didn't usually take photos of things that were coming down. But they cared about their old building, and Bradfutes were the ones who actually started the paper. And this was called the Bradfute Building. It was one of the more beautiful buildings in town.
Those pillars still stand at the IU track.
And the pillars do still stand at the IU track building. I'm not sure what the photographer was doing here. Maybe he was drunk. I'm not sure.
Showing the sidewalks tonight.
University School. The Nichols Barber Shop. So
That's across the street.
that's near the, yeah, it's like the alley bar now, right?
That's where the building's been torn down.
Yep, he's standing where the building is being torn down, right? Well, this is looking towards the gables. You can see the gables in the back. If you happen to know any of the mailmen, you can just shout out. South Kirkwood, or excuse me, Kirkwood, South Kirkwood. East Kirkwood. Oh, boy. Yes, yep. We're back to this again, but in the background, you can see the old Hunter Mansion, which came down in 70, I can't remember my own book anymore, 5, 4, somewhere around there. And actually, it's what spurred on or kind of got the whole preservation movement started around the early 70s because people were so upset. Morton Hunter, as you know, was a Civil War general and hero and was almost governor of the state of Indiana, but for a stroke that hit him before the nomination process. And yeah, that's the house in the back right. On accident, they took a photo of it. Because they were trying to take a picture of this Curry Buick thing here. They accidentally took a picture of that. It is actually the only photo that the Herald Times ever did take that we know of the Morton Hunter mansion. In order to get a photo for my book to use in my book, I had to call Indianapolis, who did several stories on the Morton Hunter mansion and the history of it, and published it in the Indy Star, because they were so upset up in Indy that we were going to tear down this house in Bloomington. And there was really no story on it here in the Bloomington paper, nor any photos. Except for this photo. Don't know. Sometimes we just scan it because we're not sure what the heck it is. And
Wait, there's something going on.
there is something going on. I'm not sure I want to know.
That's it's like the railroad yard back there.
Could be the railroad yard in back, yep. Oh.
That's cool.
Yes, it's cold. This is kind of like today. I'm not sure exactly what building we're looking at, which is why I think I left it in here, even though it's a double scan. See, George, I put people in these things.
You know who they are.
I don't know who they are.
Thanks, Derek.
All right, so nobody knows that guy. All right. Here's a close-up. I'm sure they're taking photos of the icicles and not the house.
The VW bug there is really cute.
Yeah, I like the bug. But I thought maybe someone might recognize.
Let's pull the gutter right off the roof.
Yeah, we think we had it bad today.
Is that First Street?
First Street? It could be.
That's the house set at the corner of like Henderson.
Henderson and First? I don't know, I'll have to go check that out.
Looks like a high.
Like it's that street just north of the railroad tracks behind Kroger. There's kind of a slope there.
Could be.
Because of those houses are about the same era. Oh, I know.
So you think that house up there is the Adams Brothers house? Could be, I don't know.
That could be,
Well,
First Street coming down.
could be First Street. Well, the mystery will remain for now. I guess it got darker out. -9. Like that's coincidence. Yeah. We know where that is. That's along Kirkwood, of course. That building's still standing. Well, it was fairly new at the time they took this photo. On the left, you can see some of the houses that were actually still standing along Kirkwood. He's cold. That's the theme. Could be, but I was thinking maybe it was up in the, it's the poor part of town, Pigeon Hill. Yep. That's what I was thinking where this was. I might be wrong. It's country. Yeah. So not Pigeon Hill.
Like a fire.
Yep, looks like some damage happened there. Oh! Ouch.
RCA Victor. Ooh. 19, there's a T-bird behind it. Truck one.
That looks like.
Yeah, it does look like the truck one. Yeah.
That looks like South Walnut.
It does look like South Walnut.
This cafe is
It says Jim Dave Cafe? Jim and Dave Cafe? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, there is an overpass down there.
That'd be north, way north.
North Walnut.
Yeah.
We're looking north.
We're looking north.
No, we're looking south, I'm sorry.
We're looking south. Oh, you're getting me all turned around here.
That's all right, Derek, you go away from the beginning.
This would be closer to 17th.
17th and Walnut, somewhere around there. Yeah. Well, anyhow.
But that doesn't make any sense because the signs are facing the opposite.
Oh, it looks like this dog has been injured. Oh, he's got a cast on. Huh, interesting.
That is the Princess.
It's the Princess Theater. Well, that should look familiar as well, because we were looking at it earlier where the drive-through bank was.
No, actually, you're further west than that.
Yeah, we're further away from it now, but
That's the Monroe Creek depot.
yeah, we're almost where the railroad tracks are, right? Yeah.
Almost to the corner, or back where the gas plant is.
Right, almost back to where the gas company is.
Says the building on the left, the freight depot.
Yep.
Yes, the building on the left is the freight depot, yes. Yeah, there's a big hotel there now.
There's Cofields, that's where I used to work.
Mike used to work at Cofield's. Not at this point, because you were only, what, 8 or 9 years old? But yeah, on the square, and it was cold.
Is that the south side?
Yes. South side of the square. All-American City on the top right. So, I know. You know, it's funny, often when, and you'll see this through the years as we go through them, every winter, they'll go out and they'll take some photos of the first snow, and none of them go any further than like 2 blocks to do it. You know, they drop out of the Bradford building, they walk like 100 yards, they take a photo, and they run back in. But they're never far from the square.
There's white sides.
Yep, this is the east side of the square. Got white sides, yep. All that's still there. Well, not all of it. The theater at the very, 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 very end of the road on the right is obviously burned down in the 70s.
So, and the Princess collapsed.
And the Princess did collapse, yes. The face of it still exists, though. For sale from Ralph R. Mills, Realtor.
That is a great picture.
That is a great photo.
That is awesome.
Yeah, this is from on the inside a store on the east side of the square, looking towards the courthouse. I try to reproduce this, but it's not possible.
That's the south side.
South side of the square.
Yeah, they're moving.
And they only put one at a time, but they didn't put them in pairs. One steal, one shoot.
All right, so this is the Bradford as it was coming down. There's the columns of the Bradford building. The inside, oh, this is something else. Something's going on.
Here, I'd like that picture.
I'm not sure what's going on there. Wrestling! That looks painful. But he's not pinned yet.
He's not
He's
dead.
got his left shoulder off the mat.
I take
That's the
that.
VHS gym.
This is the BHS gym. I guess the singlets didn't cover the top back then.
No, they just.
So you just wrestled
That's why
bare
they want-
chested.
That's why they want to wrestle.
Mike, I'm not even going there with you. All right.
Stick with basketball.
This is a new sorority house. Let's see. And the architects were from Fort Wayne, Indiana. A.M. Strauss and Associates. So you go and hire an architect out of town to build a Bloomington sorority. Seems wrong to me. More wrestling. Yeah, this. Nope, no singlets. I'm sorry. Now, this would be when many of you would have been about this age, so I thought we might get lucky on this photo.
We're on strike.
Well, a percentage of you. Not many, I guess that's, I'm presuming too much. Okay, well. What, good memory? What happened back there? Nobody knows him? Okay. I heard somebody laugh. I thought maybe they knew something. This looks like somebody's house burning down. The Bradford being, well, yes, blocked off. Taking down the pillars, which they did say, which we mentioned, which are at the IU track and field. Some guy watching. Yeah, way too close, too. They're across the street watching. hopefully they're saying, God, why are they tearing that thing down? But who knows what they're thinking. Looks like a dangerous job. I'm not even sure how you get this accomplished.
Do a great job.
But, yeah, well done, whoever did that. That took some doing. Yeah, I'm not sure where this is at.
One of those parking lots.
It looks like somebody just drove off a parking lot.
There's another Thunderbird convertible there.
Yeah, another Thunderbird convertible in the top right. The March. This is looking south on Walnut.
So it's celebrating a sports event.
It looks like they are celebrating something, probably a sports event, more than likely.
Jack Knoll.
That's
Yes, it
Jack
is.
Knoll, and
This
Bill
is-
Franzman is on the right.
So Jack Knoll is on the left, and
Bill Franzman.
Bill Franzman is on the right. And what did these gentlemen do?
WTT.
WTTS, WTTV, and WTTV television.
WTTS, WTTV.
Yeah,
Okay.
they both work for Sark-Stars.
And they both work for Sarsian. That's great to know.
It's a great picture. Bill is a U School grad.
And Bill was a U School grad.
Yeah.
Well, we went from not knowing them to now we know who they are. That's why we do this.
I want that
That's why those
picture.
people were in space.
I need that picture.
You need this picture?
I need that for my project, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And they're on the radio. See, he's got the headset on.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're actually broadcasting.
Well, we can do that. You have my email, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is in Spencer? Because they wouldn't put this wheel up in downtown Bloomington with it. This looks dangerous.
Well, that wouldn't stop.
Probably right. More basketball? Oh, yeah. Grants.
Oh, man. With an S and H green stamp. Gotta get your stamps.
Do we remember where Grants was? Eastland Plaza, that's right. This building's still there. Are they setting things on fire?
You look burning the books.
You said the burning of books?
It's a dump.
It's a dump.
It's a country dump.
It's a country dump. That's a thing. All right.
We have them everywhere.
Still-
Look at that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yep, these are some of the original additions and alterations to the Stony Crest Motel, which is still with us today, minus the pool.
That pool was a big deal.
People love that pool.
Well, it has portals in it.
It did. You could see right in there.
That was done in the 60s, late in the mid-60s, just before we graduated.
When I moved here in '91, that pool was still there, and I thought that's a really cool thing. Even I thought that.
Well, there's Mayor Lemon.
There's Lemon, Tom Lemon, yeah.
This is Mayor Lemon,
Dunlap.
Mayor Dunlap.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Those two we got?
Who's the guy on the far left? I know that face.
It's clean up, paint up, fix up.
Clean up, paint up, fix up week. Wow. So it was kind of like this week when everybody was encouraged in town to pick up after themselves.
There's also sparking the fire
It
dog.
was like a.
Yeah.
It looks like it's at the fire.
A beautification day.
The boots are hanging up there.
We don't do those anymore. Taylor for sheriff.
Okay, yeah.
Remember we saw him earlier?
So
Mike's father.
that's your father-in-law?
Paul Taylor, probably. Well, there's another Taylor in that race. I think Charlie Taylor.
Charlie Taylor was state
Yeah.
for a long time.
Isn't that right, Bernie? Was it Charlie was in the
Charlie Taylor?
race and he won. So,
Oh, he won, okay.
Taylor.
So that Anders dude lost, huh? Well, I would almost guess somebody probably ran into this with a car based on earlier photos.
Same driver.
Yeah,
Just says.
need to drink less. Double photo of that old other photo. Here's another double. This could be the inside of the Princess? Is it collapsed? I'm not sure.
Not the princess, he didn't have a balcony like that.
Not the Princess?
Not with a curved balcony.
There was a curved balcony in what's now the
Harris
Buckingham.
Band.
No, the Harris Building has.
Well, whatever it is, it's a bad situation. All right. This is on the square. Obviously, we're looking at the Graham.
There's a military parade going on.
There is a military parade in the background.
Yeah, look at the bodice has a trim and a little bow. Probably got it at the charm shop.
Nice fashion, yeah. I'm not sure. It's quite dark.
She's got a book on her head.
Got a book on her head.
Yeah. Postulate.
Maybe she's a clean candidate and lose the judges.
Okay. Here's that accident again. Firestone guy. So we got the Shell guy, we got the Firestone guy. I mean, it's very odd. They do take photos of a lot of service station people. We noticed that. I'm not sure why that was such. Not that there's anything against service station people, but
They can use them in the ads. in the paper.
oh, could be for the ads for the paper. That's a good point, George. Now you're thinking like a marketing guy.
Well, that looks like South Walnut Street, just south of Smith Street.
South Walnut, I heard University Motors.
That's the old University Motors on their building.
Maybe they're waiting for a parade.
Yeah, hard to say what they're waiting for.
Summertime, they've got shorts on.
We have hit summertime, so maybe that'll warm us all up. It's near City Hall, or what was City Hall. And it looks like the Cub Scouts have been integrated at this point.
Marvin Grove.
Marvin Grove,
Marvin Grove.
Billy Gifford, Charlie Minnemeyer, Tracy Clay.
Okay, so these are very popular people. All right,
Marvin Grove was the best, Billy Gifford.
Marvin Grove was the best coach, and the guy next to him is
Bill Gifford.
Bill Gifford, and the next guy,
Charlie Minnemeyer.
Charlie Minnemeyer, okay,
Tracy Clay.
and Tracy Clay.
Two of them are classmates, Tracy and Bill, and Charlie was in Meredith's class, right? 63.
Good baseball coach. All
He
right.
won a state championship and
He
run.
also taught me.
Looks like one of the Inmans.
He won a state championship.
Gary Greniger, right.
Okay, start from the
Carmichael
right.
on the,
Start from the right and go left.
Gary Brennan.
Gary Grinigan.
Brenniger.
Briniger.
Carmichael, I'm not sure who's
Carmichael.
next to him. I don't know what the guy in the middle is.
Guy in the middle is an unknown.
Sam Russell on the left.
Sam Russell on the far left.
The other guy, I don't know.
So the guy in the middle just must not have been a very good ball player.
Go check the Gothics.
We got into a Gothic.
Yeah,
62.
we could get into a Gothic and figure this out. Not sure it's important to identify every single person, but it's nice to know.
And there's a building in the background, so you know.
There is a building in the background, yeah.
Make you feel better, Derek?
Oh, look at
Yes.
that.
The old Kroger's,
And the bakery.
and, well, they're not there anymore.
And Paul Harris.
Yeah, well, this is just right around this era was sort of the beginning of the strip mall era. And so the whole planning in city design was to have, of course, the sea of pavement and then some stores at the back of the sea of pavement.
With the intersection from Hell.
Yes, and they were, the design was they thought to make traffic flow better they did the opposite. This city design actually made traffic as bad as it's ever been. And by getting rid of sort of the whole grid system in general, going east to west, north and south, that you were just given fewer options in general. So anyhow, we won't get into city planning here, but
The Ford truck.
we all know where this was because it stood right up until, was the only building left on that side, the opposite side of the convention center, up until, this came down about, what, 7, 8 years ago now? And now, of course, it's just a big sea of pavement, but it's good to know they actually plan to finally develop something there, because it's been a sea of pavement for about 60 years. When they demolished the old neighborhood along that stretch, they thought, oh, well, McDonald's will come, A&W will build a restaurant here, and then nobody built anything, so it's just been paved lots for 50 years. And now it's going to be a hotel. Which is sad, because now I won't be able to park there for free and walk 2 blocks to go to the square.
Federal Express, Rail Express.
A FedEx agency. I'm not sure why the kids are there.
That's at the
Looks like a
Bloomington,
field
that's the Bloomington station downtown,
Yeah, that's the train
train
station.
station.
It's the train station downtown, okay. Maybe they just got off the train, I don't know.
Field.
Field trip.
We used to take field trips from Bloomington to Bedford and back.
Or Bloomington to Evansville.
So there was common back then to take field trips to Bedford and back. And Ellettsville and back.
Well,
It doesn't sound exciting, but it's just a fact. It happened.
well, when you're 5 years old.
When you're 5, it's cool.
Upper second grade, you know.
Yeah, it's a long ways when you're 5. Fry fish fry. Makes me hungry. I'm not sure what they're all looking at though. Maybe the menu or it's the recipe. Shoe stores. Could be Toby's. What does that sign say in the back up there above his head? I can't read it from this angle. Huh.
Looks like Schmaltz's.
Could be Schmaltz's. Okay, you got a big no on that one. Strikeout. So nobody thinks it's Schmaltz's, all right. Woolworths. All right, no moans on Woolworths. That sounds. No, there's a moan on Woolworths. One moan. Grants, maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Probably Grants. Okay.
Yeah, so look at the ceiling and the fluorescent lights. You don't,
Yeah, those fluorescent lights.
you don't see that in Woolworths or,
Yeah. Well, because they've got some class.
but they ran east to west.
When was there?
All right, one of those service stations. Anybody recognize this service station?
Is that, the farmer house there next door?
Yes. Oh, okay, so we're looking at 10th and College. There's a big 3-story apartment complex there now.
Ron McClary used to be there and sell tires.
Ron McClary used to work here and sell tires.
Well, that's the Johnson smokestack behind.
And that's the Johnson's smokestack.
Shower.
Very cool. Looks like we could be at the same place, but I'm not sure. Law school in the background. Oh yeah, there was a gas station. There still is a gas station there. Yep.
3rd in Indiana.
3rd in Indiana, that's right.
That was Headley's.
Headley's, it was named Headley's. And that's Headley right there.
Is that Leon?
Leon Headley?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, we got a yes on that. Very cool to find out who some of these people are. There's Leon doing some pumping. Come on, keep it clean. All right, I'm not sure where we are.
That looks like it was Central Junior High School after it was BHS. It looks like that stage.
So it could be Central Junior High.
No, I don't think this is, I don't think this is.
I recognize the curtains.
Look at the vents underneath it.
Yeah, it's a big,
Elm Heights.
That's Elm Heights.
That's Elm Heights?
So what is Harmony today? Yeah, it does look similar to the Harmony. I've seen the stage pretty recently, actually. Yeah, that does look really
We used to store
familiar.
lunch tables in there.
They still do.
Ah.
They still do, believe it or not.
Not in the depths.
I know, I did a presentation there. I had to pull out the seats myself. Set them up for people. I don't know. They're concreting this guy in. Like the Casca Armadillo or whatever here.
It's a vault.
It's a vault. It's a very small,
There's a, it's a park, because it's got a basketball goal there.
so why would, oh, fire pit? You think it's a fire pit? All right. So this guy is not doomed.
Yeah, because he put
That's
the
good.
fire, just like fire brick.
Okay. So fire pit.
And there's a basketball down there.
It seems like a dangerous place to put it. A fire pit right next to the basketball courts. So I'm not sure. I mean, what are those things? The shelters? Maybe it's a shelter. Who knows? It's not. I know. I'm just kidding. All right. Lovely modern house.
For sale.
It's for sale and probably was just built recently. You got a parking garage going right into the rear left end of that house. So you kind of wonder, how much space does it take, I wonder. Anyhow, yeah, this would have been brand new back then. How do you like those columns on this house? They're more like poles. I mean, why even put them up? And they cover such a little area. It's not like you can sit on your porch when it rains. Anyhow, it's just me.
Why are you making a great salesman for that?
I know. Thank God I don't have to sell that house, huh? It is a new bridge, but I'm not sure where. Maybe going to Ellisville?
I thought they were doing one around.
Or not Ellisville, Spencer. Yeah. It looks like this could be the one going to Spencer. Okay, moans. I hear no. You are wrong, Mike.
Maybe going from Spencer.
Maybe from Spencer? No, okay. So we have no consensus on what this. Highway 46 East, so says. It is. And take it or leave it.
Where on 46?
Okay. Huh.
They're going east or going west?
Going east, going west, which way are we looking here? So we're looking west.
So that's Stevens Creek then.
Stevens Creek.
Going to.
Maybe Brummets.
Yeah, that's starting to go up that big hill.
Yeah, that's the corner of 11th and College.
11th and, this is the corner of 11th and College.
That house is still there.
The gas station's not there anymore, but it was about 7, 8, 9 years ago. No, no.
South.
Yep, Bruce's Marathon. And prior to that, it was actually,
We just redid the
We're looking,
basement of that a couple of years ago.
that's the northwest corner.
Yes.
yes, but we're looking south, right?
Looking south.
Looking across 11th Street.
Right.
The house.
There. But that looks like Clara Kinsey right there in the middle.
Looks like Clara Kinsey in the middle. I believe all the Kinseys that did live in Bloomington have all moved away. The kids. More modern house again. I don't know, this could be in Matlock Heights, it looks like it. Modernist. I'm not sure, but looks dangerous. some sort of celebration downtown, right on the square.
What's fun,
What's the sign on the door?
That's on, that's looking southeast on the, right on the square.
I would blow it up.
Dandale Restaurant.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, right around the corner here is Michael's Uptown, and, you know, you got the Trojan, Trojan horse. Of course, the bookstore would be right there. So, yeah, we're right downtown. There's a lot of these too.
That's a library of the.
That is right. It's Mayor Dunlap, and they are celebrating the creation of a parking lot. I'm not joking. They did it all the time. Yep. They used to cut ribbons for new parking lots all the time. They would go out and they'd take photos of the new parking lots.
Was the original spot of the colored school in that?
This was the original spot of the colored school. That's right.
But you can park there now after 6 o'clock for free and go to the library.
You can park there now after 6 o'clock for free. So there was some good that come of it. But actually, in my book, if you have my book, you'll go through it, you will find that in order to create this parking lot, they tore down 2 huge Victorian houses. And they were all connected to the Showers brothers family. Hull Showers house would have been right there, stand right there. So
But it's a lovely parking lot.
it is a wonderful parking lot. It is wonderful.
It has no parking meters either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they took no photos of the Hull Showers houses before they were torn down, so that way no one will know what they're missing. Oh. So here's another one. More than likely, this photographer was sent out to take photos of new parking lots.
They did a good job.
Yeah. And in many cases, the only reason we got photos of all the houses that were on the post office square when we were doing our research is, if you don't know it, the post office square downtown used to have 16 old mansions on them, most of them built in from 1870 to 1890. Anyhow, they tore all those down to build the post office, but the only reason we have photos of any of them is because they were taking photos of a parking lot. And in the background, you could see some of the houses that were eventually torn down. Yeah.
Bowles Hotel is still there.
The Bowles Hotel is still there. That little sliver would go soon because it was too close to the railroad tracks. And from what I understand, people who actually were in the Bowles Hotel when those trains would go by, it would shake the whole building, and you couldn't sleep, especially if a train went by at night, because it literally was like feet from the tracks.
It wasn't that close.
Well, not for you train expert guys. You're fine with that. All right. The pool.
That's Bryan Park.
It is Bryan Park.
So it would have been pretty new, huh?
And since everybody's turned away from us, we won't be identifying anyone unless you're really good at identifying people.
Well, there's some of those girls.
All right. The new HT. The glum HT with no windows.
And they're all waiting because they can't get in.
Yeah, and they can't get in. It's got to be really hard to work there. I don't remember those windows. Are there no windows in the front of the HT? Not in the front.
No, I'm not buying that. I don't
It
think
almost looks like a school.
I don't think it's the HT.
Yeah, I don't think it's the HT. I've been in that building way too much for that to be the HT. Yeah. Actually, the HT has no windows in the front at all, except for the entry doors.
Methodist.
I think that's where the Methodist conference was.
The Methodist Conference behind the Catholic Church. Yeah. 2nd Street East. That makes much more sense. Mike, we've been going to the HT for 4 or 5 years. We should know. That's not the HT.
You haven't been there recently.
Well, you don't have.
Not
that-
recently.
You've got a lot of clear space in the background here, and you don't have that.
That's right. A lot of clear space in the back.
There's water.
Yeah, that's it.
Include, like they're on the building.
Yeah. near Grant had third.
Methodist, yeah, the Methodist something.
Conference.
Conference Center. It is the Methodist Conference Center. The wall says so. Oh, here's that photo of the post office area on accident. In the background, you can see the old Claude Malott house, which was on Washington and 4th Street. And of course, no. This is South College. This is South College.
That's Tom O'Daniel
Yeah.
Fields Park.
This is Tom O'Daniel. You're right.
That's where the old Central School was.
This is the only house standing left, besides the Adams Brothers house. But this is gone. That's all gone.
Yeah, that's the conference, convention center.
Yeah, this is the right.
And there's still a conference.
This is the convention center here.
Yep.
Yep.
That'd be the top of Hague's right there.
Right. But at one point, there were houses on this side and this side all the way up and down between 3rd Street all the way to 2nd. So
Is that where the Beck House was?
the Beck House was. The Beck House would have been right here. Yes, the liquor store was there as well. So anyhow, yeah, sort of the celebration of the parking spaces there. And then on accident, we get some houses in the background. This is, I think, what, 7th? And Walnut? I think so.
Something wrong about this.
No, these buildings are still here. This is 7th Street. Right now, there's a big building here now. And this would be Taco Bell now.
Parking lot next to the AT&T building.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, yeah, I can get that.
Parking lot.
AT&T would be right there. There was a parking lot there for a long time.
Yeah.
It's Scotty's.
Allen Funeral Home.
Scotty's Brew House.
Right, Scotty's Brew House is here, but right here used to be the Allen Funeral Home. I'll bet you $1 million on this one.
You haven't got $1 million.
No. The original Allen Funeral Home, not, you're thinking of the second one. Anyhow, we won't. All right.
Are you talking about the Allen Field?
Go back one more.
Well, that's, 'cause there's
Is this
Hanover Graham.
helping? All right.
What's the big building in the middle?
The big building is the Graham Hotel. Okay? So this is the Graham. This is Walnut. This is 7th Street. You are looking southwest. Yes. And I'll put a bet on that if you want to bet me.
Go back one more time. Can you see the Masonic Temple?
The Masonic Temple would be somewhere back
Right
here.
there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't see anything.
Well, I don't know if we're looking at it at quite the right angle because the Masonic Temple is set back from the road quite a way. Yeah, I think it's just out of the picture because it is set back unlike a lot of these other buildings.
Where's the launch, post office?
Drive-in restaurant there?
The post office, you'd be behind that tree that you can't see.
Right there, that was it, right there.
Bart Villa Apartments.
Marcella.
Big deal.
Where is this?
That's where Cook's business began.
East Second Street. Close to the conference center, the Methodist Conference.
Okay, so East 2nd Street,
Yeah, across from Benford and Rogers.
across from Binford and Rogers. Okay, that is helpful. Interesting. I don't remember ever seeing this. I'm sure it's still there. I guess
Oh, yeah, Boy Scout office was there.
the Boy Scout offices were there.
Place of
Yes,
self-pride.
it was.
Yeah. I guess I better pay more attention to my surroundings. Colonial Furniture on West 6th Street.
Curry was up on 7th.
The greenhouse at IU,
Hilltop.
Hilltop. Little darker version of it.
I don't know.
the greatest amateur racing event in the world.
Is that Vance Harkey? I'm not sure.
Vance Hartke?
He used to be a senator in Indiana.
Was a senator?
Yeah, on the nearest.
No.
No?
Okay, getting no's on that.
That guy's much too young to be Vance Harkey.
Yeah, he's,
Better looking.
he's not all, oh. It looks like one car ate another car. That is really bad.
Looks like he met a telephone.
Car wash fundraiser.
Like Brenda Hardwick there. Where? Front of the car.
Second.
At the front. Oh, yeah.
Brenda Hardwick at the front,
Is that Michelle at the back?
Michelle at the back.
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think
Is
so.
it Wankier in the middle?
Where is it?
Sherry Hill?
Far left looks like Carol Snell.
Far left looks like Carol Snell.
And then Sharon, I can,
And then Karen, we can't remember her last name.
Stansifer?
Stancifer?
No. That like the fish, that far right. That's Jerry. Totally cool.
Kind of off the ground, huh? Well, maybe these close-ups will help.
Suzette. Suzette Wankier.
That is Suzette who?
Suzette Wankier on the right.
Suzette Wagner on the right. I guess she was popular. You.
I went to grade school with her, but I didn't remember.
It's got a brush.
Looks like she's pointing at other people, telling them to get working. Yeah, I'm not sure. I was hoping somebody else could explain this one to me.
That is provocative.
I am not sure why there is a mannequin
Jean shop.
being lifted. Yeah, well, the Betty Sheen shop in the back, but this is the theater.
We're looking southwest.
Yes, we are looking southwest.
From Princess. I remember scanning this. We could not scan it.
No, we did scan it because we thought it was weird, and we just couldn't explain why the theater would be lifting a mannequin near or above it, because they didn't start playing dirty movies here until the 70s. So
It's like it's on a telephone or a mannequin.
that's the Princess.
I remember that.
You do remember who said they remember that?
I remember it hanging there. And I remember that coming in the paper, and I actually had a picture I took of it myself, but I can't find that picture now. I think it was advertising a movie.
It was that for advertising a movie. Okay.
But that was so many years ago, that's all I remember.
And what did you get by with it today? Oh. Yep.
Anybody know this sheriff?
He just shot himself in
So
the
fast
foot.
to draw the words.
Might be Bill Street, go back.
Might be a guy named Bill Street. Street.
That's in the park.
Fast draw champion at one time.
There was a fast draw championship, and he was the champion. They didn't really shoot each other, did they?
Prisoners being returned to the jail.
Prisoners going back to jail near Tovey's.
Well, he's got a hand on him, he's wearing cuffs.
Anybody know these troublemakers?
Not us.
Yeah, they went to the barber shop.
Probably went to the courthouse. That would make sense. Probably some serial killer.
Somebody's house is sinking into the mud.
Sinkhole.
In case you thought I was kidding.
No, there's prickly pear on the ground.
Okay.
South College. Still looks this way today.
Yeah.
Full of pet bellies on the other side.
Yep.
Yep.
Much better.
Yeah, that's a little bit easier to see. That building in the back is still there. Was a furniture place for a while. Floods. Gotta be Kirkwood if it's floods.
I've got a boat on top of it.
Oh, yeah, he does have a boat on top. He's ready.
Let it go.
I think they're gonna get fairly wet before they can launch it. Okay, that looks like I used to.
I'm not sure what this is.
This looks like Lindley Hall.
Lindley Hall?
No.
No.
Something tall in the back of it.
Yeah.
That's a smokestack, right?
Could be a smokestack.
That is
Anyhow, it's probably on campus somewhere. I'm not sure where.
That
But
would be before they tore down the IU facilities.
Got like a sign on it.
maybe it is the IU facilities plant.
That's all it's like.
No, it's too big.
That's what-
Huh.
Got something in the background.
See that sign on the
What's
left?
the street sign, the sign on the left?
Yeah, I might have to check that sign out later. I wish I could blow it up, but I can't. Not in this setup.
You hit it right, it's like the old IU building.
Okay.
It's like Longbow.
Looking for something.
Well, whatever it is they're looking for, it's probably not good. Whether it be a weapon or bodies. Maybe they're just practicing. A lot of golf photos in these. I took some of them out because there's so many of them.
Oh, those are youth store girls.
Yeah.
U School girls.
It looks like it's in front of the old University.
That's all youth school.
That's the old, when is the
Cindy's in the front.
Oh.
Cindy Grossman.
No, you mean,
Don't just make up last names. Jill Grossman?
Jill Grossman.
No. So Cindy Grossman.
But that is the
No.
old University High School.
It is Cindy Grossman. Okay. She's a cousin of Jill's. The Grossmans are a pretty famous name in this town. Second row left is who? Kathy Reister. I don't know. Hoisting the flag. Something's burning. Brummett and Carpenter. Brummett and Carpenter. Anybody remember that building?
I don't even know.
Hmm. Well, I guess they weren't very popular.
Looks like they had served Coke there.
They what?
Sold Coke.
Sold Coke?
Looks like a-
So it could be a
Coke sign.
grocery store?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might not have been in town. Yeah, what's a fireman's, sell in the back of the fireman's? Something-
Yeah, I can't read that.
Can you tell us on the back of the helmet?
Too small. Anyhow, someday they'll create something that allows you to blow it up on the screen while you're doing a presentation. What? Little cottage. I guess it caught on fire at some point. It's got a big hole in the top of the roof. Rogers Rangers,
That's the old Legion home.
the old American Legion home. Well, it's still there. It's just
Have a family planning. plan.
different standings. Yeah.
Well, let's see.
We got a bunch of pictures out there in the hallway of all those guys were in them.
Yeah, my dad was in that group. Not this group, the one he's talking about.
The color guard.
Yeah.
They were one of the top color guards in the whole country. I mean, they traveled all over the country.
They were one of the top color guards. Well, yeah, look at all those state championships.
Look, the latest one was 1962.
Hmm.
Well, Brian Carpenter had a lot of attention.
Yeah, if that's what they're all staring at. The burning house, I'm not sure.
Benford's like Benford.
Benford? Dyer. So I got Benford twice, I got Dyer. We're not sure though.
Dyer.
Well, there's our answer. The big D. Brenda Jean,
Yep.
first left, kneeling.
Derek, that's the one with Brenda Mingy, with the jump rope, you took
Yeah,
used her photo.
yeah, Brenda.
That's her.
Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. I recognize her now.
Is that Janet Drake in the middle?
Janet Drake in the middle, anyone? Oh. Yeah. Yearbook would be helpful right now. That fundraiser again. United Way Torch.
That's interesting.
Blue Ridge.
Blue Ridge. Yeah.
Yep, Blue Ridge Estates.
So that, is that gate still there?
Yes.
Yep, okay. So, yeah, a prisoner escaped through this hole. Yeah, this is the jail, and this is how he escaped through
They were
this.
bringing him back earlier.
I think they eventually caught him again, but he did escape through here. Yeah, there's that hole again.
That's that one I posted in the
Yeah,
promoting this.
looking north.
It's Don Stone on the left.
Don Stone on the left.
And the other guy, I can't remember. Fourth and Wall.
Yeah, we're at 4th and Walnut.
Edgar Todd.
Looking north.
It's Ed somebody. Edgar Todd.
Back here, Ed who? Edgar Todd?
Paul Taylor's coffee shop right there.
Inside. Nat Hill. More Nat Hill.
Nat Usher Hill Report.
Not sure. Mike's Beer and Liquor.
That became the peanut barrel later on.
Became the Peanut Barrel, yep.
It was Mike Sansoni that owned it.
Mike Sansoni was the one who owned it, yep.
McDaniel Furniture.
Started down.
Maybe they moved to the same place because up on Wall Street, the same.
Fire Department
That's an American.
along 4th. That's a big engine.
American LaFrance.
American LaFrance. Not sure where we are here, but a bunch of kids.
Safety Patrol. Maryland Road, John Denver.
Kister's Field,
Kister's Field.
the old
That's
airport.
all gone.
Yep, it's all nada, no more with us.
No,
That looks sort of Atwater and, yeah, Atwater and 3rd, the Wiggle.
that's Hooker's Crazy Corner.
Hooker's Crazy Corner, as they called it. Sorry, if you're gonna blurt out something, I'm gonna repeat it, because I thought it was something that would be factual and helpful.
You really, I'm gonna say something really rude now.
I'm gonna have to monitor what you say, George.
And you're just now learning.
It was They married for a name Jack Hooker.
Yeah, it was that named after the mayor, because he's the one who made that, whatever you want to call it, that corner.
Impediment.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a bad one.
Gosh, people got to really learn to drive.
Some of that train.
Oh, my goodness. That's a bad one. Watermelons?
The melon mess.
What about year are we at now? 63? I lost track.
Yeah, some real upset.
There was a fraternity that had a thing called the melon mess, and.
The melon mess,
Yeah, they gave.
and it was a
away-
fraternity, and they gave away watermelons.
And the sororities tried to steal the melons.
And the sororities tried to steal the melons. That
Yeah,
seems mean.
It was like the, no, it was.
Oh, it was a playful thing.
It was a pledge thing,
Okay.
and I got thrown in the tank.
Oh, okay. And you got thrown in the tank, all right. Back to that Kroger again. Peterson's Bakery. Oh, a couple of those. Another angle of Kroger. I don't know what they are taking photos of. One photo of Kroger looks like all the others.
Well, that's the gas plant behind it.
Sure, it's a different Kroger, but it might as well not be.
Well, that's,
4th and College.
that's where,
Had drugs? Takes right
I
there.
think the Corliss building was there.
Yeah, Hags was near there.
So that's it, they're just the south side.
Yep, Hags was on the other end.
That's down south wall.
This is the one on South Walnut.
That's easy.
I'm not sure what this is.
There's no hunting.
There is no hunting. But that's about all I know from this photo. All right, outside,
System disarmed.
That's the Methodist church.
that's the Methodist.
That been a voting
There's
place?
a conference center behind it. That's it.
And the conference center behind it.
The windows we didn't know about, we thought was the
Oh, that's a different, no, that's a.
That's not the conference center. Whew, getting a lot of false information here. Methodist again.
They went that way.
Yeah. Over there.
Fred Huff,
Brett Huff.
on the sideline.
Brett Huff?
Fred Huff.
Fred Huff.
I played for Fred.
HUFF.
He's in the Hall of Fame,
He's in the Hall of Fame
high school football.
for high school football. These are Mike's kind of photos.
Mike's any of those?
I might be in there somewhere, I don't know.
He might be in the pile somewhere. Oh boy. That's Mike after the tackle.
They're way too, this has to be staged, they're way too calm for that to be real.
It looks like it's staged, but having seen some of the other photos in this,
They were always calm.
they didn't, it was just like,
The person's not gonna be rushed into it.
no, this person has passed away. There are more photos of this scene that some of them I left out because they're, well, you're eating. Yes, it's a mortician on the left, so. It's good night, Irene. Some of you with lesser standards will remember this hotel. The No-Tell Motel. I've heard so many stories about this place. We don't need to get into
The
it.
other side of it was a topless.
Joe Lamb down.
On the other side was a bar for gentlemen. Well, I'm gonna call it that. This was probably the ugliest building I've ever seen. When I first moved here in '91, I said they built this out of cinder block? Are you kidding me? Anyhow, it's not with us anymore, as you know. There's a hotel there, but different
The
hotel.
original office lounge was downstairs back on Market Street.
Owned by the
Joe
same
Lamb
guy.
owned it, the famous Joe Lamb.
Anybody know this young lady?
She's going steady with something.
Oh, she's going steady. She's got the ring.
Got a fuzzy ring on her. Uh-oh.
Drum roll. It's like Jeopardy. Bloomington Jeopardy. Who is this?
Yes, but that same place.
She could be the principal.
Yeah, that's
Number were you?
44. Yeah, but that's, you see the press box behind it.
You're close. You're 47's in there.
Well, that's the other team.
Oh, that's the other team.
You said 44?
It was pretty.
There's a 48, 46, and 42 in the background. No 48,
Is it
4.
average 44?
You're probably back there somewhere.
There's, who's this guy? That's Mike Arnold, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mike Arnold and Huff.
Yeah. He and I were
Sitting
good.
on the
What's
bench.
the bench?
Who's sitting on the bench? Mike.
Mike.
Maybe that's him.
Could be him, yeah.
The
Possible.
uniform looks awful white.
Sewer.
That's just a trick.
Oh,
That's an amphibian. No, it's an airplane.
it's an amphibious airplane. And it's not doing so well.
Well, it crashed.
It missed.
This is where Buffalo Louise used to be many years ago. In this little strip mall. Which isn't the most pleasant thing to look at even today. And that's City Glass over there, yeah. So this is along 17th Street, if you weren't familiar with where Buffalo Louise used to be. It's still there in all its glory. I think there's a liquor store there. You used to be able to wash your clothes. There's a clothes laundromat there. NFO. Yep. They're waiting outside somewhere. Could be visitor center. Another bad driver.
Oh, yeah.
These golfers won something.
Gunnar Richardson. Yeah.
Who?
Gunnar Richardson.
Gunnar Richardson on the left.
Glasses.
In the glasses on the left.
Cut shirt.
Terry Hayes is next to him. Terry Hayes.
Terry Hayes is next to him. You know, I'm actually announcing this stuff out, but the cat's mic is not working, so I guess they're gonna have to read my lips. Oh, you do? Okay, good. Here are the lady winners.
Marilyn Lawson.
Marilyn Lawson in what?
Dark.
Dark sweater. Anybody else? Golfers are never that popular.
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters? Yeah. The original, yeah.
Does look like.
Right. We're looking south.
Yeah, but also it's the bad shape of the sidewalk.
Yeah, they're focused on the sidewalks, and it's actually not long before they decided to fix most of them. But as you can see, they're really beat up and cracked everywhere. And so, yeah, we're looking south down Walnut along near 4th Street.
There we go.
There's an old Bloomington High School photo.
Is that you there?
Tracy.
Not Mike Arnold.
Tracy at far right.
Tracy's on the right.
Tracy who?
Clay.
Tracy Clay on the far right. Steve Rollins is what number?
Next to Tracy.
Next to Tracy.
This is the year before I started. I started the next year.
So Mike says this is the year before he started. You were just a bench warmer at this point, right? You were the center, right?
Yeah. Mike, the tackler. Slavic was still a part of that.
Who's 34?
Dan Wiggins.
Dan Wiggins.
Oh, yeah.
And Mike Mefford on number
Mike
29.
Mefford, 29.
Did you pass much?
Yeah, that guy was all-state quarterback.
Oh, well, I mean, you know, back then they didn't pass as
He
much,
passed a lot. and that's-
but he passed a lot. Okay. Did you run the option?
Yes,
Okay.
not me personally.
Well, you were part of it. You had to block.
Yeah, cool.
Did you ever poll?
Yes.
Okay. I know a little about football. Just don't like looking at photos of it. I'm not sure where this is.
I did check on Maxwell Lane.
Near Maxwell Lane? It's not very appealing. It's still not, right, yeah.
This looks to be
Campus, IU campus on, on Packing Day, yeah, with all the taxis. Oh, yeah.
Hi, Mom.
That's, I bet that's on 10th Street, by the graduate residence.
That's a
Could be-
junior-
could be along 10th
junior
Street.
achievement. So this should be the fall of 62.
Junior Achievement Adventure, Fall 62.
Yeah.
This house, I think, still exists on the south side, or the
Building on East Third Street.
East Third.
Yeah.
Trees been struck by lightning.
That's what it looks like. J.C. Penney's downtown.
Showalter Festival.
Yep. We may be near the end at this point. Where are we? So South Walnut.
South Walnut and Second, that's what it looks like. Yep, you can see Boxman's on the left.
Look at that bare chested.
Yeah. This is Kirkwood, you can see Workingman's Bank on the right. About right there.
Oh, yeah.
So you're looking towards Square.
We're headed east.
Yeah. They are headed east.
There's that pizzeria.
There's the pizzeria. I don't think we could ever figure out what this was by looking at what was in the background.
The old Fall Festival stage.
The old Fall Festival stage, okay.
So it's in Ellettsville, right?
Oh, in Ellettsville. That is helpful. No?
What's it say up there on the checkerboard?
Purina Chow.
Purina Chow.
Well, it says Ellisville right up at the top.
It does say Ellettsville at the top.
That's not the way the stage was built.
That stage, I think, was built 1954.
Stage was built in 1954, although we are having severe disagreements on this.
They may be rebuilt.
It's gonna be a fight here.
Whew, we're done. Good Lord, my legs hurt. Anyhow, we'll probably be back and do this again. I don't think we got very far. This is at 63.
Got plenty more to show?
Yeah. Oh, and there are 2 books left if you want them.
Are you making a new one?
Yeah, actually, I am making a new one, but the new one won't really be full of photos. It's going to be, I started going back through papers in 1870 all the way through the 1930s. It's going to be called The Grim Side of Bloomington History. So it'll be a little darker than the first one, and it's going to cover kind of all of the scandals, murders, mysteries from I stopped at 1930 because I didn't want to scare anybody who might still be alive in the 40s. So, but it's pretty grim. And I hope that people still will enjoy it. but thank you for asking.
Is there a picture?
It does, it's gonna have pictures. In some cases, well, I'll tell you one story. So there's a gentleman in Dolan, and you know Dolan has its own history book, which is mostly true, except it leaves out one of the most gruesome stories in Dolan's histories, or one of them. And it was a particular family, actually, in Dolan that were just known for being complete troublemakers. And they were all in and out of jail constantly. But the particular gentleman I'm talking about, and I forgot his name, so forgive me, but he'd already been arrested several times for beating his wife. And finally, the fourth or fifth time, his son agreed to testify against him. And so he went to jail for a while, and then when he got out, for the holidays, prior to the trial starting, he actually committed suicide in front of all 5 of his children, which in a very gruesome way, which I won't get into. But the thing is, he was erased. Telman Lintz was his name, actually. And he was erased from Dolan's history. And although his grave does exist up there on the north side, I found it. And but if you talk to, or you read the book about Dolan, and if you talk to any relatives, they really didn't know much about this guy. And in fact, most of the reports and stories where I got the information for writing this particular part of my book were from papers in Chicago and papers in Wisconsin, because for whatever reason, they didn't talk about it much here. So, but anyhow, it'll have some weird stories in there like that. And also the editor of the other opposing paper was accused of murder in the 1930s. And there's a whole story about how did he get out of that, because apparently there were people that saw him on the scene and he'd been drinking that night. And there were some witnesses, but he never got convicted. What was the name of the other paper?
There was the World, and then there was the Telephone.
The Courier. He was the editor of the Courier, and I wish I could remember his name right now, but it's drawing a blank. But anyhow, he eventually, Henry Feltus, thank you. He eventually did, of course, was not convicted, did get out of it somehow. But there'll be little stories, and it'll take you through the trial and how he has managed to escape. And so, yeah, it'll be full of scandalous things like that probably nobody wants to talk about, and probably the relatives will want to sue me after it's published. So I hope you enjoy it.
When will it be published?
Well, right now I'm on page 90, so I've written 90 pages worth, and I'm probably going to go right up to about 200. I think that's enough scandal for one book, I think. But thanks for coming out.